What's up, YouTube? The reason I'm making this video today, which will hopefully be fairly brief, is in response to a YouTube viewer's question. He had a Logitech Z313 sound system and he wanted to know if he could use an aftermarket car audio system in place of the small subwoofer driver that comes included. And I told him, generally, yes, you can use an aftermarket subwoofer with this sound system. However, there are a few considerations. Before we perform this modification, I do have to get one thing out of the way. This is an unauthorized modification, not approved by the manufacturer, and you do undertake this at your own risk. Generally, this is a pretty safe modification, but as always, you're dealing with electronics that are connected to line power. Use caution. You may ask, why would you do this modification? Well, I can think of a few reasons offhand why you might want to do this. Perhaps you have a bigger, more efficient subwoofer laying around that you'd like to put to use, or perhaps the driver in your Z313 subwoofer is already blown and you would just like to recycle the components into a new sound system. When selecting a subwoofer driver, a wide variety of drivers will work. The biggest consideration is going to be the subwoofer's impedance. The amplifier in the Z313 sound system is designed to work with a 4 ohm subwoofer, so you want to make sure that the subwoofer you choose to replace this is a minimum of 4 ohms. If it goes below 4 ohms, you risk equipment damage or worse. So be on the safe side, match the impedance or go greater. There's no risk in going with a higher impedance subwoofer, for instance an 8 ohm, although you may lose some output. The driver I've selected is an HTC Z313, which is a dual 2 ohm voice coil, and I have it wired in series for a 4 ohm final load, which will be similar to the 4 ohm load presented by the subwoofer in the Z313 system. So we know that the amplifier will be within its operational range. If you're not sure of the speaker's impedance, which is usually listed on the basket or on the back of the magnet in ohms, you can always check the DC resistance with a multimeter to be sure. One more thing to keep in mind when hooking up your new subwoofer is ensure that the polarity matches. If you hook the speaker up backwards, you don't risk damaging anything, but your sound quality will suffer because the subwoofer will be out of phase with the left and right speakers. Performing the actual modification itself is very simple. All you're going to do is remove the 4 screws that hold the subwoofer driver in its cabinet and cut the wires going to the subwoofer, or alternatively you could desolder them. I had actually cut these wires in the previous video. Normally this would just be soldered directly from these terminals to the amplifier board. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect it. Now these are our leads to our amplifier. And we'll just connect these to our subwoofer, once again keeping polarity in mind. When making these connections, wire nuts are a good temporary connector, but they're not really the best, so always make solid connections. And if you're going to use this as a permanent setup, you would certainly not want to have this clunky enclosure laying around. You fairly easily remove the plate amplifier module from this and the small transformer and either mount it to another board or directly into the enclosure of the new subwoofer you're putting in. Keep in mind this is all just temporary. Let's do a little bit of testing and see how it works. my opinion. SPL was greatly increased by using the HTC Z313 in place of the obviously much smaller subwoofer that comes with the Z313 stock. And the biggest thing was the low frequency extension. As you can see, I have response all the way down to 5 Hz with this subwoofer driver. So quite an improvement. If you have something like this laying around, this could be a great modification and just something fun to do to improve a already decent Z313 sound system. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to like or leave a comment down below and subscribe for more audio related videos here in the future.